Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Squid Game Season 1, Episode 6. Gganbu? I 100% pronounced that wrong. I guess that's the name of another game or something, but I am stressed, I'm excited. After where we left it with the last one, the policeman, whose name is on the tip of my tongue, I feel like I remember half of it, his brother, and just everything that everyone else is going through. I'm so excited to watch this. A reminder that, as always, you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go. Oh, he is a pure soul. He lost his way, but he needed more support in the real world, it would seem. Like, more understanding and help. Even, like, lining them up and leading them out like this is so like being with kids at school. And, like, the first line goes first, and then the games are all kid games. Oh, this is just weirdly, like, obviously messed up. Oh my goodness. God, if his brother truly won one of these, he will no longer be the same person he used to be, and I'm surprised he managed to hide that for so long. Lucky they didn't declare your whole team as forfeit. If this isn't his brother, he's dead. If he gets caught. Maybe he can hide? I don't know where, but oh, yep. They're so in their teens now. It's awful, isn't it? Because you don't know what the game is. You might need a strong person and a small person, or you might need an intelligent person. I wonder if this is all part of it, the social deduction. Oh, does he want to try and call out? Can it only receive calls? Jesus Christ! I hope he can die. Weird religious man that's cool with murder. It won't be another game of strength, surely, after the last one. There's an odd number of them now. Oof. Oof. He was about to ask you. Oh. Poor guy. You're working with the old man, but I think... Okay, I don't think he's in on it, but I also, if he is in on it, at least he'll be fine. What? I mean, if that is true, that is a very sweet gesture. But it's the wrong number. So if they're young and small, and I feel like there are lots of games where that would be useful. Did you really? Oh, fuck. Oh. Is he gonna team up with him? I knew he'd do that. Because they have a bond. Did she not get anyone? Oof. They've made up their minds. This isn't going to do anything. What is the plan with her? Oh, Lord. Yeah, didn't. That's why they've... That's why they've manufactured it. To be like you. Do you have to, like, steal each other's marbles? Oh. Oh. Yes. Oh. Oh, they're playing against each other. Because they paired up with people they wanted. Like, that's husband and wife, isn't it? I want to know this girl's story. Can we steal them from somebody else? Oh. Has he lost himself into his memories? Oh, this is horrible. This is horrible.
무슨 얘기? 다른 사람들한테 못 해보는 얘기.
God.
어차피 우리 중에 하나는
The other person will be dead, it won't matter. Oh my lord. Please say there's a catch to this game somehow.
다시 얼굴 보고 민망.
선생님, 저 다른 사람이랑 하고 싶어요.
쓸데없는 소리 하지 말고 빨리 줘.
Oh. I'm just so stressed. Is there going to be some kind of catch? Because they didn't just shoot her, the Han Mei, in the head. They dragged her off somewhere. So is there going to be some kind of catch here that they're not actually going to kill the losers in this game? Because they didn't say they were going to kill the losers in this game. Is this to kind of destroy the bonds they created? Because that is not kind, or how you... He's desperate though. He doesn't mean it. There's got to be the twist here. Has got to be that they're not actually going to die if they don't do it. Desperate. This is destroying the bonds.
아버지는 강을 건너다 총에 맞아 광물에 떠내려갔고 어머니는 중국에서 공안들한테 잡혀서 다시 북으로 끌려갔고.
He said he was good at it. Is he gonna cheat because the old man has a tumor, and so like he thinks it's better if he lives?
하나 구하고 북에 있는 엄마 데리고 와야지. 야, 400억이면 그런 거 하고도 남아.
That's all she cares about right now.
말고 없어?
근데 나 이렇게 죽을 수 없어.
Tough, he can't either. He's a baby. No, there isn't. What is there a rule that if you haven't lost, if you don't lose, then you get to stay? Did he lose? Oh my god. So they really are killing them. It must be if you haven't lost when the time runs out. You both, I don't know.
다른 팀이랑 20개를 걸고 승부하는 거지.
Maybe.
원래 우리 계획대로.
But I'm stressed. They may both die. I wouldn't put it past this show to suddenly, we've kind of kept the same main characters for a while. None of them have really died.
이 손으로 나 저렇게 만들고 싶어?
Of course he doesn't.
집에 돌아오니까 엄마가 방바닥에 누워서
That might explain her kind of skewed view on life and death and the way she kind of makes fun of things.
아버지란 인간이 칼을 들고 서 있었고.
Oh lord, that would definitely explain it.
나였고. 그 인간 직업이 목사였어.
That explains so much. It includes how much she despises the religious man.
엄마를 때리고.
뭐라고 했지?
Oof.
저기요.
Oh, it's just brutal, isn't it? Because it doesn't feel good to cheat or to lie.
잃어버리면 끝이야, 알지? 내가 가지고 다니게 안전하게 해줄게.
No. No. Do not give it to him. I'm sorry, I'm stressed. I feel like I was half expecting him to take all the coins and then be like, they're mine. Oof.
하나 남았는데.
Is he gonna knock his in and then it'll count for him? It's gonna knock his in! Oh god. I don't blame him for running, but there is nowhere to go.
우리 여기서 만나자.
Oh, he is so trusting.
세 개네.
근데 방금
Oof.
뭐라고 하셨죠?
예?
Oof. He's using his befuddlement. This would feel awful to do.
구설 20개야. 당신들이 말하는
Jesus.
규칙은 어떤 게임을 하든
Oh, sweetheart. He's always double-crossed other people, and given what the stakes are, I kind of don't blame them.
구슬이 하나 있었네.
He must have been counting the exchange, that's why he didn't shoot him.
맞았어.
Knew she was gonna throw it. She thinks she's got more to
너
live
뭐 하는
for.
거야? 무조건 이기게 해준다는 게? 너 이런다고 내가 고마워할 줄 알지? 난 없어. 뭐? 너는 여기서 나갈 이유가 있지만
I thought that was what was going to be the result of them getting to know each other.
걔도 생각이 안 나.
You'd find something. You deserve a chance to find a life.
이유가 있는 사람이 나가는 게 엄마도 만나고 동생도 찾고
Oh,
제주도에도
형 어디 있어? 형,
fuck.
상우 형. 나 보고 왔어.
His good nature got him killed. He deserved to win 1,000 times more than you. Can't blame him, given that, you know, the situation they're in and the fact that it's their lives.
고마워. 나랑 같이 해줘서.
This is horrible.
아, 걸고 한판 할까?
You have one marble, he has 19. He's more with it than he seems.
다 걸 테니 말이 안 되는 거잖아.
It doesn't make sense.
자네가 날 속이고
I mean,
내 구슬 가져간 건
it's
말이
true.
되고
He just wants to live. Me as a daughter, and you're dying, and you came here because you were dying.
손가락 걸고 깐부 맺은 거
Oh, this is horrible.
까무기는 그동안 고마웠네. 자네 덕분에
I'm sorry I doubted you, old man.
괜찮아.
Fun theories were the best way to get through this show.
괜찮을 거야. 그래서 내 이름은 일남이야. 오 일남.
Well, you know, if I want to stick with my crazy theory, then we didn't see the old man get shot. He got shot off camera. So they could have just fired next to him and now he's just going to go join the VIPs. I could be telling a crazy story. Jesus Christ. Like, well, I feel like the two that were partnered together, there was a husband and wife in an earlier game. Did they survive to this point? Were they paired up together? Did they do it? Did anybody refuse? Because I think someone with that kind of bond might have refused. But then if you have kids to get to or something, I just... Oh, this was so cruel. Because the last time they picked teams, they then worked with their teams. So they were all teaming up with people that they were closest to and that they trusted the most. And then they turned that around. And they should have seen that coming. We all should have seen that coming. these people are sadistic. The whole concept of this is sadistic. Taking the poor, the people without a choice, the people who their lives are in such a state that they truly don't think they have any other choices apart from to join this game, and then twisting it and forcing them into this. Because their consent forms they sign, the fact that they came back isn't really consent, because, you know, it's like if someone has a gun to your head and then says, would you like to have sex with me? And you say, yes, that isn't actually consent because there's a gun to your head. In their lives, they had metaphorical guns to their heads. This was just utterly brutal. We didn't really get much development with the policeman and his brother. He took pictures of the files. I guess he can read them if he manages to escape. Again, I don't know where he'd go if he manages to escape, other than just hiding around the rooms. If it's his brother and he finds him, hopefully he won't kill him. But if it's anybody else, bullet to the head with the first order of business, and we'll just have to pray his phone and the evidence on it gets out somehow. The beginning, when they saw all of the corpses of those who had betrayed the game's code, was chilling. And then the game itself, you know, designing it as being like the streets they grew up in. Taking something so sweet. I honestly think every single winner of the Squid Games, going back to 99, was it? Or whenever it was, will be severely messed up. The guards, I mean, I feel like to become one of the guards, you must already be pretty messed up, because you're agreeing to do all, like, you just shoot people in the head for failing a kid's game. You know, it's pretty messed up. But I just think, how is having that much money worth losing yourself entirely? Because it's what they're doing bit by bit. Any of them that had compassion and goodness are either dying as a result of it or having to go against it. Like, I don't think Sang-woo is a bad man. I don't think he is a bad person. I think he is desperate. I think he has made a lot of choices, and I think he can be very selfish. But I think he's just very, very intelligent, and he's able to see people's weaknesses and exploit them. That's why in the Shape game, he could have said, oh, I think it's going to be this game, let's all pick the circle. We didn't need to split up. But he didn't, you know, or the square, or whatever one was the easiest. And then, like, with this, through pure luck, because it is luck, Ali was winning, and he knew his good heart. He knew he'd trust him. He knew he'd look for the loophole. And I want to know if there was a potential loophole. The way this game works, they probably would have just shot them both for having not completed the game. But you never know. They didn't specify that in the rules. I feel so awful for him in that moment when he saw those rocks, when he knew that he'd been cheated and that it was someone he trusted, someone he thought was a friend, someone that he had been cheated by because he was trying to find a way to let him live and he didn't want to kill his friend. If only he'd let the fact that time when he grabbed him, use that as the, like, oh, I cannot trust this man, everything would be better. Ugh. And then the girls. The minute they started sharing their stories, and Ji Young, I believe her name was, something like that, her story kind of meant that she was alone and didn't really have much going for her and had a pretty awful life beforehand. You know, that just screamed that she deserved a chance to make something of herself, to get through that awful time and to make something in spite of everything she's been through. But the fact that she so willingly sacrificed herself for a girl who has been through horror and has escaped so much and just wants to make a good life for her brother and find her mother again, it just kills me so much. Because that shows you that despite all of her glib comments about people dying or whatever, that she truly is a good person, because she dropped that marble without, you know, she knew what she was doing. And it kills me that they had that real moment of bonding. And for Sai Byok, it was such a, I don't know if they pronounce the K, it was so important in a way that she was able to let those walls down and open up to somebody else. And that person immediately died for her. Just how screwed up are these people going to be? Then we have Jihyun and number one, the old man, who I am going to stick with my crazy theory that we'll see him again as a VIP, because the camera panned away from him getting shot, and, like, I closed my eyes through a fair number of the shootings, but I feel like when the main characters had died, we more or less saw it. I mean, we didn't technically see Ali die, although when I clicked next episode, Netflix did seem to have his dead body on display for me, which was lovely. But I don't know. Regardless of any stupid theories, the way Jihyun, you know, he offered him the coat to hide the stain, and then the old man was like, oh, they'll think you're weak if you don't have your coat, so take mine, and then that way people will look after you, or they won't look after you, they'll know that maybe if he's the VIP, like if he has number one, they'll look after him. I'm joking. He was like, oh, you know, if you have my coat, then people will respect you. You know, the way they were looking out for each other, and they teamed up, and they were so hopeful, oh, we can play this game, we know this game. And then, in that moment, it's so awful because from a completely clinical and cold point, you look at the two of them, a very old man who has lived a very long life and is currently dying, or a middle-aged man who has a child and has half of his life left to live. There is no question in that case on who should live. It's brutal and it's a horrible thing to say, and they should never be in that position. They should both get to live, but it's just truly that was the only outcome from that situation that would have been right. And I think I'm interested. See, something else that interests me with the old man is he spent most of it while he wandered around a lot, which was delaying things, which if there was the whole 1-1 survival thing, and then, you know, he got all befuddled and he kind of let him get them when he was befuddled, but he knew he was being tricked, he knew it was happening. Like, I don't think he was as dementia as he seemed, and maybe that was all, maybe when he was wandering around to begin with, at least, he was trying to figure out a way out of it or something, and then he couldn't. But the fact that they became best friends, I can't pronounce the term properly and I don't want to be disrespectful by saying it wrong again, and everything. And when he gave him the marble, and, you know, saying that he knew he'd been tricking him, but he still gave him the marble, that just kills me, because in a way what he did was pretty similar to what Sungwoo did. It was, in a weird way, it was slightly less because it wasn't every turn, but it was enough of the turns to count. It was just kind of more subtly done. It wasn't an elaborately thought out plan. And it just kills me to see these people who are, like, Jihan has made mistakes in his life, and, you know, he's gambling and everything, and not, I mean, say not having a job, but that stems from the strike he was part of, which I don't personally think is a mistake. It just, in his life, most of his choices have come from untreated trauma and coping mechanisms, and then it became an addiction. He is a good person, we've seen that time and again, and Ali was such a good person. The fact that he saved Jihan in the first game, because there was nothing to be gained for him from grabbing him. If anything, it could have made him move, because he could have fallen forward and pulled him with him, or when he tried to catch him, it could have been too late and he could have been seen moving, but he still did it. Like, that was why I used to call him my favourite character. I mean, I don't actually have a favourite character, because he had, without knowing anything about the man in front of him, selflessly tried to save him. And it kills me that that good nature was so brutally used by Sungwoo. And this is the second instance of him being manipulative and using something to his own advantage. Now, I don't necessarily dislike him as a result. You know, he's never going to be like the character I'm rooting for the most, or my favourite, but I don't dislike him because this is a battle for your lives. And I suppose with all the debts he's got in the outside world, he's worried like his mother could lose her shop, his family will be destroyed by his debts. So he's doing it for himself, that is his primary motivation, but he's also trying to do it for them. I don't want to think about Ali's family, his wife and daughter, who will never know where he is. They'll never know if he's alive or dead and what happened to him, and that is awful. This was a brutal episode. Did not expect to cry. I mean, I suppose I did to an extent, because I knew that episode, look, we passed the halfway point now. I'm sure people are gonna start dying that I've grown to like, but this was just brutally done. This show. So it's a reminder that, as always, you can find the unedited version of this reaction and all of my reactions on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.